Growing up, I'll be honest, I wasn't a kid that was really sociable. I wasn't going to tons of parties or dating lots of girls. I wanted to be this super outgoing kid, but I really wasn't that confident. More recently, I would say that I'm a bit more of an ambivert. I am part of a couple friendship groups and communities. I don't avoid social situations, but I try to get involved in them when I can, whilst not depleting my social battery. And now you're probably asking, what does this have to do with entrepreneurship? I had this view that when I was younger, that only a certain person could become an entrepreneur, like someone who was super communicative or like a social guy. The ability to smoothly talk through conferences or events with such ease. Extroverts aren't the only people that thrive in this space. I want to make clear that this video is aimed at people that have the intention of starting a business or may even already have started one. It's also aimed at people that have a side hustle, maybe a hobby they're passionate about, or maybe are just self-employed. At the end of the day, sometimes it's these side passions that transform into blossoming careers. Look at Ed Sheeran, who started his epic career in the music industry as a busker on the street. He's actually a famous introvert as well. The basis of this video is in reference to an insightful book called The Introvert Entrepreneur by Beth L. Buelow. Beth argues that the problem in our society, more specifically business, is that the people and organisations in these places create personas of themselves that are quite false. Their actions most of the time don't actually match their words. According to Brad Feld, introverts exercising their abilities can be quite exhausting, but it's kind of like a muscle, something that can be developed and made stronger. However, there is a phrase which encompasses how you can develop such an ability with consistency. It is said that 80% of success is just showing up. Introverts naturally have an aversion to massive social situations. I'm like this, so much. When there are lots of people, it does mean as an introvert you have to put more fuel on the fire. Can't be relaxed with your energy, so that's not a good option. Beth makes the good point that introverts make less effort networking, gaining useful career contacts. And however, the environments and opportunities are always worth taking advantage of, especially when there's lots of people from different walks of life. I tend to bring out this slightly self-deprecating persona, just a little bit, that both listens and is quite energetic at first, and by the end of the night, I'm not going to lie to you, I am absolutely knackered. I'm so exhausted. However, Matt Jonquist of Career Horizons made this recommendation, and he said one key mistake many people make is to ask too much too soon of a new acquaintance. It can be easy as an introvert when the flow of a conversation is going well and you tend to get comfortable. The key is, if you're asking a favor of someone, you have to offer something first in return. Even better, your network contact will remember you for your selflessness. Since networking events and calls can be draining for introverts, you should schedule your networking times and meetups and everything with your contacts. For example, I networked with an employee at my company, well, not my company, but the one I work at, and we're at our company induction and we exchanged numbers. That weekend I booked him in, I just gave him a call. Just had an hour session with him and he gave me some really good filming advice. Never undervalue the power of networking. Rather than doing something more passive like reading or watching videos, do something that is an interactive way of learning. And I find that is so much better, when you ask someone questions and you can actually talk to them until you understand the subject. When you do make these contacts, don't procrastinate. Phone them ASAP. Make sure that they know who you are. Beth advocates that you call them 24 to 48 hours after receiving the phone number. So develop your knowledge through your new acquaintance and become better at your chosen path. With recharging, I believe it's fair to say that everyone has a social battery. I don't know if you've ever worked in a communications role where you're in an open layout office or require constant communication with your colleagues. It can be quite taxing, even for the most extroverted people. It's true that taking steps to fully recharge, not just after hours and days of heavy communication, but you should also take time to recharge also after activities of general busy work. The other weekend I was heavily involved in YouTube research, writing, admin, errands, and I finished the day up with a gym session. I know this sounds quite crazy. I don't know how I did it, to be honest. It made sense after a day that was chock full of mentally and physically demanding activities. I had to have a block of time to do nothing, just but play PlayStation. It was a very good end to the day, and prioritizing your rest can help you with your cognitive functions, which can help you work more effectively. We know this. This is important as evidence in a study featured in the Journal of Motor Behavior. It was found that introverts take longer to understand information fully than extroverts. This was explained because introverts are more thoughtful and considerate in understanding core concepts of the things they learn. Now you're probably asking, okay, what does this have to do with me? Well, if you are an introvert, you're naturally going to have an aversion to going into areas you don't fully understand. I'm guilty of this. At work at the moment, I feel uncomfortable on consulting clients if I don't know the whole story back to front 100%. That is where I get nervous. I stutter more on the phone, which is never great. Therefore, it makes sense that you can recharge, because as an introvert, you're naturally going to take longer to process that information. But that's not a bad thing though. A bit of advice in the book from Jada Salner, co-founder of Simple Green Smoothies, would plan tactical retreats if a conversation or social environment would get too much, often retreating to a quiet area or a hotel room just to recharge her battery. Beth also suggests that most entrepreneurs enter their industry not realizing that there is so much selling and marketing involved in it, even putting doubts on your ambitions to take action in the industry in the first place, or even create a business. I think I heard this once, so I'm kind of paraphrasing this, is that you're a single person, not an island. Focusing your effort is incredibly important so that you're not just expending energy on facets of your business that don't matter. I could obsess greatly over the thumbnails of this video, the lighting, even editing to a crazy degree. This is important, but not nearly as important as having a focus on getting the videos published in the first place. In regards to sales aspects, it's kind of the natural adage that introverts are less likely to pursue a career in sales. But it does make sense on paper. If you've got someone that is clearly more outgoing, consistently social, it makes sense they're preferable in a sales career than someone that is introverted. What Beth argues as well is that introverts can have the ability to put the spotlight on the other person to avoid the pressure on themselves. I get this. Whenever I meet new people, I prefer to talk about their lives, themselves. I don't like to talk about myself too much because I'm worried that they'll think that I'm just, I've got nothing to talk about myself really. And I'm just that guy who just talks about myself all the time. Whether it's sales or not, it has to be about the other person. Once you've done that, you can talk about yourself. And there is a saying, let the world know you as you are, not as you think you should be. Because sooner or later, if you are posing, you'll forget the pose, and then where are you? The simple fact of the matter is, emails and text messages aren't a substitute for phone calls or face-to-face conversations. Face-to-face, you can't have anything that replaces that. Mannerisms, the emotion and the eye contact. Beth makes the point that technology should help direct us to our goals. It shouldn't be like a substitute for the meaningful interpersonal relationships we could have. In business, it makes sense to focus your social media to one platform than trying to spread yourself too thin. This is what Beth argues quite a lot. And I know what you're thinking. You'd be like, oh, why would I speak to people when I could just send a message to someone? It's so much hassle to have a conversation. The thing is that if you want to succeed in any capacity, especially in this day and age, it's about convincing people that you are confident. If you're that type of person who'd rather look at their phone when you're just, going down the street, there's actually another thing that you can do. There's been lots of well-documented cases where improv and developing communication style hobbies have helped. You could take a workshop near you, or call your friends or contacts more frequently so that you're used to talking to people rather than just being on your phone just messaging people. That does help. If you don't have many communication heavy activities in your life, this would actually give you the confidence to roll a conversation in any direction, no matter how it starts, which is always a good underrated skill in my opinion. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.